The Mpondos, a name that echoes across the endless plains of Kruger, whispered in awe and fear by all who know the wild. These four brothers, bound by blood and ambition, strode into the heart of the savannah with a confidence that bordered on arrogance. Their arrival marked a turning point, a new era in the delicate balance of power that governs the animal kingdom. Even their name sent shivers down the spines of other lions. The mere sight of their powerful frames and the glint of determination in their eyes was enough to unsettle entire prides. Whispers of their exploits traveled on the wind, reaching every corner of the bush. Mothers kept their cubs close, and rival males watched from the shadows, wary of the storm that was brewing. They were the undisputed kings of Kruger. No coalition dared challenge their claim, and no pride could resist their dominance. From the highest rocky outcrops, they surveyed their vast domain, eyes sharp for any sign of weakness or opportunity. The sun rose and set on their reign, casting long shadows that stretched across the land, a constant reminder of their presence. Ruling with an iron paw and an unquenchable thirst for dominance, these lions were a force of nature. Their roars thundered through the night, a warning to all who might dare to challenge them. They patrolled their territory relentlessly, driving out intruders and asserting their authority with every step. Hyenas, leopards, and even other lions learned to keep their distance, for the Mpondos showed no mercy to those who crossed their path. They were the stuff of legend. Old scars marked their faces, each one a testament to battles fought and won. Under the shade of ancient acacia trees they rested, ever watchful, their golden eyes reflecting the wisdom and brutality of life in the wild. Stories of their conquests and cunning spread far beyond their territory, growing with each retelling until the Mpondos became more myth than reality. These lions were not to be trifled with, their aggression was unmatched, their power, absolute. When challenged, they responded with a ferocity that left no doubt as to who ruled these lands. Fights were swift and decisive, their strength overwhelming. Even the bravest challengers quickly learned that defiance came at a steep price. The Mpondos' reputation for violence was well earned, and their dominance unchallenged. Other lion coalitions steered clear, wisely choosing to avoid their wrath. The mere approach of the Mpondos sent rival groups scattering, tails tucked and heads low. The savannah became a chessboard, with every move calculated to avoid a direct confrontation with these formidable brothers. Their presence alone was enough to shift the balance of power, forcing others to adapt or flee. Even the bravest of animals knew better than to cross the Mpondos. Buffalo herds and antelope watched from a safe distance, their instincts warning them of the danger that lurked nearby. The Mpondos hunted with precision and teamwork, their strategies honed by countless encounters. Prey animals learned to recognize the signs of their approach, the sudden silence, the tension in the air, the unmistakable scent of lions on the wind. Their story, etched in the very fabric of Kruger, is one of both awe and terror. The land itself bears witness to their reign, ancient trails worn by their paws, the echoes of their roars lingering in the air. Every corner of the park holds memories of their passage, from the riverbanks where they drank to the open plains where they hunted. The Mpondos became a living legend, their legacy woven into the tapestry of the wild. A tale woven from ambition, power, and the brutal realities of life in the wild. The Mpondos' reign was not just about strength, but about survival, strategy, and the unbreakable bond between brothers. Their journey is a testament to the harsh beauty of nature, where only the strongest endure. This is their story, a saga of dominance, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of greatness in the heart of Africa. The Mpondos were a coalition of 4 male lions. Born around 2019, they entered a world already teeming with danger. Their journey began in the southeastern reaches of Kruger, in a pride known as the Salala. The bond between these brothers was unbreakable. It was the foundation of their power, the key to their success. Together, they were unstoppable. Their mother, a formidable lioness herself, instilled in them the ruthlessness needed to survive in Kruger's unforgiving landscape. She taught them to hunt, to fight, and most importantly, to dominate. 2 of the brothers stood out, Darkmane and Blondmane. These 2 were the fiercest of the 4, the ones who truly embodied the Mpondo spirit. Darkmane, with his namesake Darkmane, was the larger and more imposing of the 2. He was fearless, always leading the charge in battles, his deep roars echoing across the savannah, a chilling warning to any rivals. Blonde mane, easily identifiable by his lighter mane, was more strategic, more calculating. He was the brains behind their operations, carefully planning their every move. Together with their other two brothers, they formed a formidable force, one that would forever change the power dynamics of Kruger. The Mpondo's rise to power was anything but peaceful. In the wild, power is never simply handed over, it's seized, often at a terrible cost. For the Mpondos, every step forward was paved with conflict, and every victory was hard-won. Their journey began in the early hours of the morning as the savannah was still cloaked in mist, and the only sounds were the distant calls of birds and the low rumble of lions on the move. From the very beginning it was clear that these lions were not content to merely survive, they were determined to dominate. It was a bloody and brutal affair marked by numerous battles and takeovers. The Mpondos faced fierce resistance from established coalitions, each one determined to defend their territory and their pride. The clashes were violent and chaotic, with roars echoing across the plains and dust rising as powerful bodies collided. Blood was spilled, and the scars of these encounters would remain etched on the faces and bodies of the victors and the vanquished alike. The savannah became a battleground, and the Mpondos quickly earned a reputation for their relentless aggression and unyielding resolve. They challenged every lion coalition that stood in their way, leaving a trail of defeated rivals in their wake. No coalition was too strong, no territory too well defended. The Mpondos moved with purpose, their eyes always fixed on the next challenge. Each confrontation was a test of strength, strategy, and courage. The defeated lions, battered and demoralized, had no choice but to retreat, abandoning their hard-won territories to the new rulers. For the Mpondos, these victories were not just about land. They were about sending a message to every lion in Kruger. A new force had arrived, and they would not be denied. One of their earliest and most significant conquests was the demise of the Salati coalition. The Salatis had long been a dominant force, their reign marked by strength and unity. But when the Mpondos set their sights on their territory, the stage was set for a confrontation that would change the balance of power in the region. The battle was fierce and unforgiving, with both sides fighting with everything they had. In the end, it was the Mpondos' ferocity and tactical brilliance that tipped the scales. The Salatis, though powerful in their own right, were no match for the sheer ferocity and strategic cunning of the Mpondos. The Mpondos attacked with a combination of brute force and calculated maneuvers, isolating the Salatis and breaking their unity. Roars filled the air as the two coalitions clashed, but it soon became clear that the Mpondos had the upper hand. The Salatis, once feared and respected, found themselves outmatched and outmaneuvered at every turn. They were defeated and driven out, their reign brought to an abrupt and humiliating end. The surviving Salatis, battered and broken, slunk away into the wilderness, leaving behind the territory they had fought so hard to control. For the Mpondos, this victory was more than just a territorial gain, it was a statement of intent. They had toppled one of the most formidable coalitions in Kruger, and in doing so, they had announced their arrival to every lion in the region. The Mpondos didn't just defeat their rivals, they instilled fear. Their reputation for ruthlessness spread quickly, and soon, even the most confident coalitions began to think twice before crossing their path. Lions watched from the shadows, wary of attracting the attention of these new rulers. The Mpondos' presence was felt everywhere, their roars echoing across the savannah as a warning to all who might challenge them. Their reputation as ruthless and powerful adversaries spread like wildfire throughout Kruger, making other coalitions think twice before challenging them. The landscape itself seemed to change in their wake, as territories shifted and new alliances were formed in response to the Mpondos' rise. In the world of lions, power is fleeting and always contested, but for now, the Mpondos stood at the pinnacle, their bloody path to power a testament to their strength, cunning, and unbreakable will. With each victory, the Mpondos' territory expanded. They claimed the coveted Sand River as their own, a region teeming with prey and strategically important for its water resources. At their peak, their reign stretched over 100 square kilometers, an empire ruled with an iron paw. They were masters of their domain, patrolling their territory with an air of undisputed authority. Woe betide any lion that dared to trespass on their land. They were met with swift and brutal retribution. The Mpondo's presence was unmistakable. The very air crackled with their dominance. They were the undisputed kings of the Sand River, and their reign seemed destined to last. One of the most striking things about the Mpondos was their roar. It wasn't just a sound, it was a force of nature, a deep thunderous bellow that seemed to vibrate through the very earth itself. When a Mpondo lion let loose its mighty roar, the entire savanna seemed to pause, as if the land itself was listening. The air would tremble, birds would scatter from the trees, and even the wind seemed to hush in reverence. This was not merely a call, it was a declaration, a statement of presence and power that could be heard for miles around. Deep, guttural, and primal, it was a sound that echoed across the savanna, sending shivers down the spines of all who heard it. The roar of a Mpondo lion was so powerful that it could travel up to 5 miles on a still night, rolling over the plains like distant thunder. For the animals of the savanna, this sound was a warning, a signal that the king was awake and watching. Herds of antelope would freeze, their ears twitching, while hyenas and wild dogs would slink away into the shadows, knowing better than to challenge the authority of such a formidable beast. It was a sound that spoke of raw power, of untamed wilderness, of the Mpondo's absolute dominance. The roar was more than just a vocalization, it was a symbol of the lion's rule over its territory. Each note carried the weight of generations, a lineage of strength and survival. To hear it was to be reminded of the wild's ancient laws, where only the strongest could claim the land as their own. The Mpondo's roar was a living testament to their supremacy, a sound that could silence the night and command respect from every creature within earshot. Tourists would flock from all over, hoping to catch a glimpse of these magnificent creatures and hear their legendary roar. For many, witnessing a Mpondo lion in full voice was the highlight of their journey, a moment that would be retold for years to come. Guides would hush their groups as the first rumble began, and a hush would fall over the jeep as everyone strained to listen. Cameras would be forgotten, replaced by awe and a sense of privilege at being so close to such raw, untamed power. The experience was unforgettable, a reminder of the wild's enduring magic. It was a sound that resonated deep within, a reminder of the raw power that nature holds. The roar seemed to reach into the very core of those who heard it, stirring something ancient and primal. It was a call that transcended language, a universal message of strength and survival. Even those who had heard it many times before would feel their hearts race, their senses sharpened by the sheer intensity of the moment. The Mpondo lion's roar was a living echo of the wild, a sound that connected all who heard it to the untamed heart of Africa, but for rivals it was a sound that spelled danger. Other lions, hearing the Mpondo's call, would hesitate before venturing any closer. The roar was a clear message. This land was claimed, and any challenger would have to face the full fury of its guardian. Young males, eager to test their strength, would often think twice after hearing the deep, resonant warning. Even the bravest would feel a flicker of doubt, knowing that the Mpondos were not to be taken lightly. It was a territorial call, a warning to stay away, a prelude to a confrontation they were unlikely to win. The roar marked the boundaries of the Mpondo's domain, a line drawn in sound that few dared to cross. For those who did, the consequences could be swift and brutal. In the world of lions, the roar is both a shield and a sword, a tool for defense and a weapon of intimidation. And for the Mpondos, it was the ultimate expression of their reign, a sound that would echo through the ages as a symbol of their fearsome legacy. The Mpondos were not just fierce warriors but also incredibly skilled hunters. They were masters of their domain, knowing every inch of their territory and the movements of their prey. They hunted with a ruthless efficiency that was both impressive and, honestly, a bit terrifying to behold. Teamwork was their strength. They would often coordinate their attacks, driving their prey towards a waiting ambush. Their success rate was phenomenal, a real testament to their hunting prowess. Dark Mane, in particular, was known for his fearlessness in the face of danger. He would often take on animals much larger than himself, his strength and ferocity unmatched.